Mahavira, and we never had this puja before. The reason for this was that Mahavira's life was an ascetic life. Just like Buddha, even more than Buddha, it would be, because at the time when these two were born, the Brahminism of the Hinduism had taken a very funny form. People had become extremely ritualistic and they were worshipping all kinds of stones and all kinds of things instead of worshipping only the Swayambhu. But as he belonged to the left side, he has described hell very clearly. Fundamentally, basically, there are 14 hells according to him. And it's horrible to read all that, what he has described about hell. Because he wanted to tell people that if you do all these wrong things, you will go to hell. And he talked about not about forming God, but formless God. Because he didn't want people to again start ritualism, but get to right to the position where they could get their self-realization to cleanse themselves. So you can imagine how difficult in those days at Mahavira was even to be one of the candidates for self-realization. It's frightening for you. That's why I never had this puja. Because to do all these things, first of all, and to become absolutely pure, then only he would give realization. I wonder how many got realization, but the way he made rules for people was so strict. Nobody would have followed him, but he told them about the hell in which they would go if they don't follow. So they were so frightened that they joined him and started following Jainism. Jain means the one who has known, who is enlightened. It's the same word, means to know. Ja from means to know. When I started Sahaja Yoga, if I had started like Mahavira, how many would have joined me? Even when we have raised the Kundalini, you have got your realization, there is not much of detachment. So the things that are said about Mahavira are taken to the extreme that one day he was meditating and he had only one piece of cloth on him wrapped with a dhoti and he had covered himself up with one piece of cloth. So when he was coming out of his meditation, his cloth got entangled with some bush. So he had to take off half of it. Then Krishna came to tease him as a beggar. And he said, you are a king and you can always get something cloth, but I am shivering. So why don't you give me this piece of cloth that you have? So he gave him his cloth and covered himself with some leaves and went into his palace and changed himself into his house and changed his clothes. So these horrible Jains made his complete nude photograph so huge, 150 feet height, nude, absolutely nude into details. They were stupid things. There are followers of his so-called, we never had such followers, but they call themselves as Digambaras, means they do not have cloth, but their cloth is all the directions, Digambara. Directions are their cloth. And they walk on the streets, walk everywhere in the villages, absolutely nude. I mean, horrible things people do in the name of Mahavira. Now, as you have got realization, I am sure you won't go to that extreme. still, you must learn to have self-discipline. If you have no self-discipline, you cannot jump into that depth where there is complete Keval Gyan, means absolute knowledge, absolute love, and absolute joy. So the self-disciplining is very important. Of course, we did not go to the Mahavira's extent now because luckily I have given you realization. But still, do not go back to things which you have left.
Mahavira is the incarnation of Bhairavnath, or you call him at Saint Michael. Now these two saints, as you know, one is the Gabriel, Hanumana, and another is Saint Michael. One is placed on the Pingala Nadi and another one, Saint Michael, on the Ida Nadi. Mahavira had to go through lots of search. Of course, he was a angel, but came as human being. And he had to find out the thing of the left side and how the left side acts. It's a very complicated thing, left side. It's much more complicated than right side. So Mahavira went quite deep onto the left side. Why I said it's difficult, the left side, is because when you start moving on the left side, the movement becomes linear, of course, but it moves downward. While the movement on the right side moves upward. So he has mentioned practically in details lots of things that can happen to a person who goes to the left side. He gave the idea of hell. He also described 7 types of hell. I mean, it's so horrible that I don't want to tell you what is hell is. It's horrifyingly cruel, horrifyingly joyless, and horrifyingly so repulsive that you hate yourself when you understand you have committed this mistake, you have committed this paap, this sin, and then what is the result? What you get, the punishment part. Mahavira worked it out, everything. He has given in all details what sort of punishment is due to a human being who tries to be left-sided. Also he has given about the person who is right-sided. But not to that extent, because he had to deal with the combination, but mostly with the left side. So when a person is possessed, as you must have seen, a person gets possessed, he cannot feel vibrations. There are all kinds of symptoms about such a person. But in Sahaja Yoga, what do we do? Is to take the name of Mahavira. Because Mahavira runs all the way on the Ida Nadi and comes and stays here unto the, we can say, the point which is for our superi. And it sees, controls, works out, cleanses, and does all that is required to put a person right after surgery. So we have to be really very thankful to him for doing this kind of work which is very filthy and dirty. Now why was he called Mahavira? Because only a person like him. Veera means a person who is brave, who is chivalrous. Because only he could do this. So only he could enter into the being fully and could uh, kill, or we can say destroy, those horrible rakshasas, devils, all these negative things that come to us. Now, as you know, we use left side very much for so many negativity that is torturing us. But if there is no help, say from Mahavira, we cannot do it. We call the name of Mahavira, we could call him Saint Michael, we can call him by any name, but Mahavira because he was a human being. All this works out because of him. And he is such a great identity. He himself took a birth as a human being, difficult for saints to take birth as human beings. So we have to thank really very much Mahavira, who has given us this power to remove our left-sided problems, who has given us this light in our hand, which he himself vibrates, and he himself tries to throw some light on the obscure things about me also. Because of him only, we can get cured of so many physical and mental troubles. You know that the left side can be easily cured if you use 3 candles. That shows Mahavira is only fond of light. He doesn't like darkness. And his idea is, I think that way, is to now fully go all the way to clear the left side as far as possible to help Sahaja Yoga to be established in countries where I find still a lot of this negativity is there.